how trickle-down economics work in Venezuela. Today we discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
How trickle-down economics work in Venezuela. Well, first let's explain what trickle-down economics is. It's when you create economic prosperity overall, let's say investing, GDP growth, and so on and so on. And that money, when it's created by, in the top, high-end businessmen, empresarios, corporations, governments, and so on, rich people, basically, rich and powerful people, and that money goes down throughout to the rest of the economy, manifested in job creation, also services, because you have people that want, when you have more money, you're going to go to more restaurants and fancy restaurants, and you're having more discretionary spending that creates job opportunities and smaller businesses below the line of the high-end people throughout the economy. This is a political debate mostly in the United States, and many people said that trickle-down economics doesn't work because when corporations and the big people and so on make money, become more wealthy, they keep the money, and it doesn't trickle down to the rest of the economy. Well, that's false, but in some cases it's true as well, because also some people do tax avoidance. They send the money to a tax haven, Panama or Bermuda or places like that, or the Seychelles Islands, places like that with, offshore banking, that kind of place. Anyways, I'm in the middle of this discussion going more that trickle-down economics actually works. But in Venezuela, works differently, and today we'll explain why. Regardless of the political and economical situation in Venezuela, every time that the oil revenue increases, that money actually trickles down to the rest of the economy one way to another. And let me explain. Well, first, let's go very quickly with the GDP equation. Yeah, I'm an economics nerd, but I use it. So what happens is that you have the GDP equation, you have household consumer spending, government spending, foreign direct investing, everything add up to the trade balance that is the sum of exports minus the imports. Venezuelan, in most cases, have a trade surplus because most of the time, even in the worst years of the Venezuelan economy, the oil revenue, the amount of the oil revenue at any given year is higher than the imports that the country has. And when that spread of trade surplus is very great, is when it trickles down to the rest of the economy. Of course, first with public spending, and of course, this spread, this trickle-down economics, doesn't go evenly. Of course, the big pockets are the ones that are filled first. It is what it is. But afterwards, that money goes to the economy one way to the other, either through public spending or private spending as well, more reinvesting, development, and so on. And of course, it's not like the average Venezuelan is going to get rich or anything like that, but you see more of economic movement. I'm talking on the lower-end classes. They tell me this. They always use the phrase, hay dinero en la calle. There is money on the streets. When this happens, when the oil revenue actually increases, that means the oil prices are quite high, or there is a slight increase on the oil production within the country. Now, something that I have to be fair is that first, it doesn't happen, it's happened very unevenly. It is what it is, but it still happens. And the other thing is that besides the oil industry, it's very hard to see it happen unless, for instance, let's talk about tourism. In tourism, doesn't happen as much because two things. Tourism is a low added value industry. It's not low industry. An industry like tourism is not the same as building planes or IT or finance or oil and commodities and so on. Tourism is a low entry activity, sadly, but it's a very necessary activity and generates a lot of jobs. Now, what happens is when tourism rises, in the country, and actually is rising on the past few years, international tourism, is that the people that directly has a business catered towards tourism, close to the beach, a nice beach club, or a small posada, small hotel, something, or a tour guides, that kind of people, they have directly access when things improve in the country for international visitors. And on those particular cases, you see apply the trickle-down economics within Venezuela, but it's just for a handful of people. Now, let's talk about commercial sector and industrials here. Well, right now, the commerce in Venezuela, both the physical one, the traditional one, and also the e-commerce, I made a video recently about it. What happens is that it's increasing indeed in the country. But we have more offer of goods and services, more competition, more shelf, more fully stocked shelves on the stores and so on, the convenience stores and that kind of places. But still, the situation, is not as great for the average Venezuelan. It's better than 2017, but we have a long way to go. But still, we see more contracting of people in taxes, accounting, legal, also marketing, a lot of increases in marketing, both in the traditional marketing and also on digital marketing. Also more jobs on the commercial sector, of course, low-end jobs like sales and customer services and places like that. But even on these particular cohorts of the Venezuelan economy, besides the oil industry, we are seeing some trickle-down economics going on. Now, the biggest trickle-down economics that gets mad many of my fellow Venezuelans is on the high-end sector. Because here's what happens. In Venezuela, most people have been very impoverished, and right now their purchasing power has increased, indeed, but still from a very low base. So the strategy that most businesses, not most, but I will say more than half of businesses within the country, some of the bigger ones, but actually the more successful ones, are the ones that have strategies for the middle and lower middle class sectors of the economy. But many businesses are catering, and I mentioned this a lot of times, to the rich Venezuelan, because those are the ones that have way more discretionary spending in order to access to leisure and hospitality and commercial services. So some Venezuelans, many Venezuelans are frustrated that those are only the ones, but it's not the case, that are having access to goods and services, and it's not the case. But sadly, yes, right now, most of the high-end businesses, many people are investing in high-end businesses in Venezuela, but the competition is fierce on this particular sector of the Venezuelan economy. And what happens is, I'm seeing a lot of restaurants that are closing, and clothing and apparel stores and high-end services closing because there is too much competition for a tiny fraction of the Venezuelan population regarding this particular cohort, socioeconomic cohort. Meanwhile, the people that I'm seeing that is doing the best right now, small businesses, mid-sized businesses here in Venezuela, is that the people that is able to cater to the lower end class, offering a cheap but reliable good or service, and also creating the compounding effect that there is millions of Venezuelans on this particular cohort and just a handful of thousands of Venezuelans on the way high-end network cohort. So lastly, how trickle-down economics is manifesting in Venezuela? Well, first, we are having more offers of goods and services. First, of course, the main money in order to spend the money, the rest of the economy comes from the trade surplus that comes from the oil revenue. So it's on our favor of the average Venezuelan to increase the oil revenue, increasing the production, and of course, if crude oil prices can stay high, that is excellent for us. Afterwards, that is creating right now. It's not for the future. It's right now, but it's going to increase in the future. More availability, more supply, goods and services that is happening right now. Things that I never thought that I will see in Venezuela. Very high-end Western products, imported products, and also a bunch of new cars, clothing and apparel, and so on and so on. Many services and also digital services are more available in Venezuela, have increased on the past 4 years, I made a video regarding e-commerce, but I explained that a little bit further. And also in years to come, we are going to see more offer of goods and services. Thanks to, of course, we are still lagging compared to other parts in Latin America, but right now we are catching up very fast. And the trend that I'm seeing right now regarding trickle-down economics and how it's going to create more goods and services is that we're still lagging, but the Venezuelan economy is catching up very quickly, quicker than I expected on the first place.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again and have a nice day.